Hi, I am Amanda. Welcome to my channel. If you've been here for a while, you know that a few months ago when I first started my channel, or a couple of months after I did a spinner wheel to see what author I was going to read their whole catalog. Airplanes are the worst. Aw, thank you. So, I spun and I got Tamara Pierce and Stephen Graham Jones. I'm going to start discussing just their books, like just Stephen Graham Jones books, and that video is going to come out every 2 months, and then I'm going to do the same thing with Tamara Pierce. So instead of everything being thrown in together, I'm going to have just a Stephen Graham Jones video and just a Tamara Pierce video. So let's talk about Stephen Graham Jones, where I am first. Yes, it is early in the morning. I have not even gotten ready for the day. I just threw my sweatshirt on so I could go walk. Anyway, I just wanted to do an update on The Only Good Indians. So I read a little bit of it last night and I've read more of it this morning. I can't stop reading it. I'm already like 75% of the way through with it. And I haven't even gone over to Discord to update. So I really need to go do that this morning. But I have a whole list of work things that need to get done today because I've been gone for a few days and it feels like everything's behind. The giant book haul is still sitting like right beside me, and I've got to put all those into Storygraph and everything else. So what is happening in this book and what do I think about it? First of all, in true typical Stephen Graham Jones fashion, when it started, we are with one of the four boys, like just thrown into the middle of the story, and then it goes, and then the next chapter or the second, Skeeter won't stop barking, so we're gonna have her join me. There we go. Then we switch to the second, another one of the boys, and it tells kind of his story and what happened with him. And I thought, this is going to be set up like a series of short stories, I think, but then everything changed. But anyway, so we're getting the points of view of all four of the boys that were involved in this event that happened, which if you read the synopsis, you can find out what the event is. But we're also getting the point of view of the killer, and that point of view is in second person. So the rest of them are being told in third person point of view, but not the killer. That's second person. And I love it so much. Like, it just feels like the way Stephen Graham Jones writes books. And so I really like it. What else? Without giving anything away, that's all I can say right now. After I finish with the book, I will do a little bit more like spoilery stuff. But I need to know who's going to live and who's not going to live. I'm going back to reading. I'm definitely going to finish it today. Well, I mean, you did see that giant to-do list that I have to do. So first I'm going to work on the to-do list. First I'm going to get these books on Storygraph and out of my way. Then I'm going to work on the to-do list. And maybe then I'll be able to read. Okay, say bye, Skeeter. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Y'all. This is not my first Stephen Graham Jones. Like, if you've been here, you know that I'm reading through his whole catalog. So I've read quite a few of his. But this one, and it definitely had his flair on it. I am going to put spoilers up at the bottom right here, right quick, just because I want to talk about some things. So if you've not read The Only Good Indians, just skip forward. This won't take long. I just need to say a couple of things. If you have read it, I want to know what you think about this. Okay, first of all, Lewis is guy number 2, if it's been a while since you've read this. So guy number 1 was Ricky, and he was killed like really close, really soon after they killed the elk. Okay, and so the second guy is Lewis. He, about halfway through his story or his chapter or whatever, I knew that he was going to end up being like the killer. I knew that he was going to end up killing people, because that is classic Stephen Graham Jones. And he loves to do that thing where somebody's brain is not quite working the way you would think a quote-unquote normal brain would work. And all of a sudden, like their thought processes, not their brain, but just like the thoughts that they're following and the way they're following them, you can tell that something has happened. And so I feel like it was like the guilt that was eating him up. And yeah, so halfway through there, I was like, oh, he's for sure going to kill his wife. I mean, I thought that's what he was going to do. So I guess I was a little surprised when she just fell and died, but yes. Okay, really, that's it. That's all the spoilers that I wanted to say about it, because I just felt like that was classic Stephen Graham Jones. What is this book about? If you have not read it, I'm not saying anything that's not already in the synopsis, but it's about 4 friends who make a decision one night that is maybe not the best. And it's kind of like the consequences or the guilt from that decision is coming back to haunt them sometime later. So in different ways too for each of the friends. So that is what it's about, and I don't want to give anything away. However, this morning I was listening to the end of this book while I had a couple of hours left, and I went outside to do my morning walk, and it was still kind of dark, and I was scared. But I made it. It was much lighter when I got finished with my walk, and I was not as scared anymore. Anyway, that was just a really great book. I am currently reading Zombie Bake Off. I have it on my Kanban board like this, just the cover of the book, which I'm going to put up here and stop holding that up, but that is what I'm currently reading. I have just started it. I'm reading it on audio, and it's only like 7 hours, a little under 7 hours, 6 hours and something. And I have read 1 chapter so far, and I think I have laughed out loud like 5 times. Like, I was cracking up laughing. So, first of all, it's 4 friends riding in a car in a bakery truck that belongs to one of the kids' dads, and they run over somebody. So, that's what happens right at the very beginning. Like, it's like, I don't know, like three pages in or something. And so, anyway, their reactions are funny. They get home, and like, at what they decide to do with the body is funny. What happens to the body is funny. And that's all just in the first chapter. So I am liking this book, and I'm ready to keep going. I literally turned this camera on to film and heard the dogs start barking. Like it's like they know when I hit record, something crazy is happening. And they need to be loud. I don't know. Anyway, I am a little bit further along in Zombie Bake Off. And this book is just like hilariously, disgustingly ridiculous. Like I thought that I read this. Well, so the last book that I read by Stephen Graham Jones was The Only Good Indians. And so I thought that this one was going to be like super serious, and I mean, they're scary in a certain kind of way, but also at the same time, like this one is just hilarious. So I am going to check in. I'm about 50% of the way through. If you don't know what this is a non-spoilery update, and then spoilers will be at the end when I finish. So this is a book about a baking competition at an event location. Okay, and so the event was supposed to be like a baking competition and baking show kind of thing early in the day. And then at night, at the same venue, they're going to have a wrestling, like WWE kind of thing. And so what happens is the wrestlers show up early. And so while the bake-off is still happening, all of these wrestlers show up, and a lot of them are like wearing their wrestling clothes. And apparently like the headliner or the big wrestling guy is called Zombie. And if you saw my last update, I just finished the first chapter, and something happened there. And that bread truck that they were driving at the beginning it brings the donuts, the dad of one of the kids, delivers the donuts to the event center because it was supposed to be a joke for the police officers that were coming for the wrestling event. To work the wrestling event, she was going to have donuts for them as a joke. So I will just say that there was something wrong with the donuts, and the wrestlers became altered. That's all I'm going to say right now. And so some of the wrestlers are not altered. Anyone who didn't eat the donuts are not altered. And so we're mostly following along with the event coordinator. So she's kind of been the person who's been like, no, your wrestlers cannot come in the middle of this baking event. And so she's been dealing with the head of the promotions for the wrestling thing, and she's also dealing with the head of the promotion for the baking competition. So anyway, the event coordinator has kind of been our person that we've been following through. She didn't need a lot of security for the bake-off, so she only has her brother who's just helping her out, and he is clearly stupid. And so, so anyway, that's where I am right now. Things are happening, and I mean, it's called Zombie Bake Off, so I guess I could say that they're kind of acting like zombies now in the middle of the Bake Off. So anyway, that's where I am now. When I finish, I'll come back and update. Jango apparently wants to say hi. Hello. He's wet because the grass outside is still wet. It's kind of early in the morning. Okay. Get down. Ew, he's wet. That's it. I will update when I finish the book and let you know what I thought about it, and then I'll have all the spoilery reviews at that point. So I'll see you later. So I finished Zombie Bake Off. That means that, I'll skip this way. That means that we're going to get into the spoilers. First of all, let me just start by saying I think this is the grossest Stephen Graham Jones book that I have read. Like, gross. Just the amount of dead bodies and brains and gore, just the descriptions. So the worst one, and it was probably because I was eating lunch as I was listening to this, but the worst one is when, to me, okay, the worst, like, gross thing is when the wrestler named Zombie shoved the sword up into, from the bottom between his legs, into the tiny giant, and then ripped it out forward so that his stomach, like, okay, I don't even want to talk about it. Anyway, that was the grossest part. And apparently, because I'm talking to a camera, Jango needs to. So here's Jango to say that he thought it was gross as well. He did hurt his nose. I don't know what he did, but you can see the little dot up there. Like he scratched the top of his nose somewhere. Anyway, that doesn't matter. This book. Now, the super grossest part, that was just like the grossest fighting part. But the absolutely grossest part was when the old lady Beatrice, first of all, if you've not read this book and you're not planning to read this book, then fine, just listen to this. Her name is Beatrice, and she's blind, and she specializes in tasting things and telling you what the ingredients are. So like if you have a special ingredient, a secret ingredient in your food, you do not want her to taste it because she will tell you exactly what the secret ingredient is. So they decide that if they make fake brains, then the zombies will go after the fake brains and leave their brains alone. But in order for that to happen, Beatrice needs to see what brains taste like so that she can tell them how to cook fake brains. So that's what they do. And that was super gross. It was super duper gross when she tasted it and then she said, "Another bite, please," and go deeper. Okay. Anyway, this book was gross. It was also hilarious. I mean, like, and it actually had a storyline, and there were like rules about the zombies. So they had like Generation 1 zombies were just like brainless minions who just went after other people's brains. Like there was no thought process. They would destroy each other and all kinds of stuff. Generation 2 were more like hunters. They would get together and like figure things out, and they could repeat sounds that they heard other people saying, like words that they heard people saying. Generation 3 could have actual conversations. Now, they didn't know anything about who they were or who anybody else was, so it was really easy to figure out who they were. However, they could speak. And so, I mean, I thought that was so cool. Like, why do you care to make different generations of zombies have different abilities? Anyway, I thought it was really cool. I am glad that I'm done with it, though, because that was disgusting. I really liked it, though. Like, I really liked the story. I liked that Terry kept trying to get to her kids and that she thought the wrestlers were just big, dumb, and stupid. And then she ends up at the end kind of like liking the wrestler named Zombie. His real name is Sydney. So, and then she and Sydney at the end go together to get her kids from school. So it just, I mean, it was ridiculous and it was disgusting, but I really liked it. I really liked it. So I am going to be done. That's 2 Stephen Graham Jones books I've talked about in this video, and I will be back in a couple of months to talk about whatever the next ones are that I'm reading. If you want to know in between what I'm reading as far as Stephen Graham Jones goes, or really anything, you can check out my Instagram, and you can also look for my videos called The Next 10 Books or something like that. That's just where I talk about the actual books that I'm reading kind of in real time as I'm reading. So that is going to do it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what your favorite Stephen Graham Jones book is down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.